So here we got an update. Farm is still trading right around this support you can see here. It's our 200-day moving average. So looks like it traded down, tested the support held 200-day moving average. It looks like it's just right above that support. So I'd expect a bigger bounce here in the coming week or so in farm, given this potential cross here with the 50-day crosses the 200. It looks like it's incoming. So you see when the 50-day crosses the 200, we see a little bounce here, short-term pullback, and then a little continuation pattern happening. Also, we have the trend line. Take the high there, and if we move that down here, maybe if I zoom out a little bit, let's go to 5-year chart. We see it looks like potentially a breakout here happening, a long-term breakout. You see it looks like it broke out of this trend line, so I expect a little continuation there. Let's check out SMH. So SMH yesterday, we said that it would have a little bounce. Looks like it's starting to bounce. Yeah, we have a little continuation pattern here. Bounce isn't too strong yet. Still in a bearish trend as of now, but I would anticipate a little bit of more of a bounce. Maybe we get up into the 232 range, maybe 235 in terms of the bounce, and then perhaps another shorting opportunity presents itself. We'll continue to watch that one. Let's take a look at our Tesla. Looks like we're receiving a bit of a bounce. Little news there. President Trump is getting a Tesla, so yeah. I mean, any news can just pop it a few percentage points at this point. It's pretty short-term oversold, but we're seeing this support is kind of holding, though it's below both 50 and 200. So one news could easily bring this down further. If this breaks this support line right here, we could see this easily drop another, I would say at least down to this area, maybe down into the 150 range. If this would not hold, we see we do have another support happening right over here. If I can manipulate this line right down here, so we got 169 potentially as a support. So if that support blows out, we'll see the drop maybe even to the 50 range, but we're a little bit far from that. I expect a short-term bounce, but then a continuation of a sell-off as according to the MACD. So I expect the MACD to really continue, just a continuation of MACD to head lower, which means that we're likely headed lower in the probably 2 to 3 month time frame with a bounce. So that's what I expect there. Let's check out Disney. Disney is kind of in no man's land right now. These lines on the side. Disney's in no man's land. We see 200-day might be approaching across a 50. So it doesn't look really tradable at this point. We're below both 50 and 200. Sentiment is bearish right now, but there's not really any clear indication where it's going to go next. So I don't have any trades on this one. Let's check out HAIN. HAIN is down in the day 3%. Yesterday said that we were paying attention to this MACD cross. It's not yet crossed. I said it's a bottoming process. Looks like it's still trying to form a bottom, but it's not really clear where that bottom is. Potential retest is 650, as we said yesterday. Let's take a look at the big ones. Apple Apple's looks like it's trying to hold the 50-day. Yeah, if that doesn't hold, it looks like we're going straight back to 199-ish, 200 area. That looks like some support there, and further support down near the 200-day. Though we see that it hasn't tested the 200-day even on the pullbacks even recently. So maybe it would pull back to this 199, 200 area. And that would be there's some consolidation and potentially a bounce up. But let's see what happens with that one with the 50-day moving average. Still looks like the trend line is being held, so there's not really a clear indication of where to go with that. Check out one more, EBS. We see EBS is looks like in a downtrend bearish signal below 5200. It broke through this trend line recently. They did have some news recently that they made a sell. There's not really anything that would tell me that this is necessarily a great buy here, but we should watch this MACD and the volume in the coming days, as if the MACD starts to look like it's forming a bottom, we may get a pop to at least retest the 50, which is around $8. So we'll just continue to watch that one. People are big on gold, like GLD. We can see GLD is pretty far overbought. Any markets, real markets, sell off will send this down at least until the 50-day. So I wouldn't put it past to test this 50-day in the coming months. And yeah, see what happens with that. But usually in a bear market, gold underperforms. So we might see a big sell-off in gold in the future. And it's very, very much overhyped gold. So one last one we'll look at quickly is USO. USO oil. So I'm not an oil trader, but just looking at this chart, we've been kind of bouncing in this range, and it's not been breaking out to new highs, which kind of makes me think we're entering a bearish cycle here in oil. If that 50 crosses 200 or anywhere close to that, we're heading far lower. We're probably going to test in the 50s. I wouldn't expect this to hold up if we continue this pattern where it's not even breaking out to the upside. So I would expect, if you look at a couple of trend lines here, we see pretty clearly that if I drew a line from this high to this recent high, it's not really breaking out. Okay, so it's kind of trading sideways and creating a wedge pattern. Now either it breaks out above the wedge or below. We don't know which way it's going to do, but it looks like something is going to happen between now and the end of the year, either below or above. This kind of trend line of 50 and 200 makes it seem like we're going to go down and break below this wedge. But that's quite a large wedge, so you expect a pretty big move given the top to bottom of the wedge. It's like 40 points, so 40 from 71 is about 30. So, could it go back down, test down here eventually? Yeah. So we'll continue to watch it. Does it break down on this wedge, or does the wedge hold? We'll just wait until we have a better signal to trade this one. Right now, perhaps it's a short time buy for a little bit of a bounce, but I have no position in this one. So yeah, so basically the only ones that really that look like they might be tradable are Farm and HAIN so far. Another one was JVA, which JVA is a coffee, had a blow off top, bounce today, 9%. But yeah, we had this golden cross, 50 crosses 200, bullish signal. Could it bounce higher? Sure. MACD, very positive, but overbought. So any sign of weakness, this thing comes crashing straight back down. So, I would hesitate to buy. Maybe you could trade this. I'm not in it. So if there's no clear trade, I'm not in it. So that's pretty much it. I just have a trade on SMH. Full disclosure, long some SMH here is a short-term trade. But again, it's within the context of this bearish structure, so I expect just a small bounce out of SMH and then a continuation lower. All right, guys, have a great one. Like, subscribe, comment. Be back tomorrow for another video, and hope you enjoy this content. And yeah, see you later.